Good morning, ladies and gents. It's your boy Crypto Blizzard. Hope you guys are having a good morning. Hope the weekend was good. Mine was awesome, man. We had like summer, good middle of the summer weather here in the Midwest. So hope everything is going well for you guys this morning as you get the week started. Just wanted to give you an update. We will be shipping out the pre-order t-shirts by end of this week, hopefully. So just letting you guys know, you should start receiving those next week sometime. We've got new t-shirts in as well. HODL is my motto, the Crypto Blood shirts, and then the Win Webbot shirt. So check them out, people. Before I really get into today's topic, I want to show some appreciation to one of my subs. They show me so much love. I'm so appreciative of this. But one of my subs sent me saw that I liked hats, so he sent me a dope ass hat, man. Check this out. And I'm a Golden State fan too. Look, it's got like suede on the brim area. Isn't that dope? Appreciate the hat. This comes from Aaron. I forgot Aaron's last name in the Webbot room, but Aaron, I appreciate that, man. And actually, I got a special something for you. Look at the underside too. It's pretty dope, man. That is so sweet. Definitely gonna be rocking this one. So appreciate it, Aaron. I say Ron because I don't know if you guys ever saw the skit from Key and Peele. I'm gonna play it real quick. This is for you, Ron. Check this out.
All right, listen up, y'all. I'm y'all substitute teacher, Mr. Garvey. I taught school for 20 years in the inner city, so don't even think about messing with me.
Mr. Garvey. His first name is probably Leroy. Leroy Garvey.
Jay Quellen.
Jay Quellen.
Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here?
Yeah. Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay. So that's how it's gonna be. Y'all wanna play.
Okay, here's Ron.
Denise.
Right.
Denise.
Right.
Denise.
That's better. Thank you. Now, Ron.
Ron.
Where are you? Where is Ron right now? No Ron, huh? Well, you better be sick, dead, or mute, Ron.
Here.
Oh, man. Why didn't you answer me the first time I said it, huh? I'm just asking you. I said it like 4 times. So why didn't you say it the first time I said Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron.
Son of a...
All right, that's my laugh, and hopefully got you guys laughing this morning over that one. Again, shout outs to Ron for the hat, man. I appreciate it most definitely. I got some things for all of my subs who sent me something. I'm going to be sending out something basically as a token of my appreciation back to you. So look out for that in the next week or so. But on to the next thing. I am smoking today one of my favorite Davidoffs from the Scorecard edition 2016. Very good smoke. Peppery, but you know, with cigars with me, it's more about like, yes, it's the flavor and everything, but how I rate a cigar is based off of the aroma as well. So, you know, cigars that are considered like my top 5 or top 10 cigars, they have very, very good aromas, and so this is one of them. This has a very nice floral aroma, so it's not really harsh to others that may be around you, especially like my wife. She doesn't like some cigars that I'll get. They're tasty, but they may smell like very harsh. So this is what I'm smoking today, ladies and gents. The Golf Edition, Scorecard Edition by Davidoff. if you can get your hands on these are very good. Kind of expensive, about $28. So let's take a look at the market cap for today. We're roughly around 129 billion. Dominance for Bitcoin has dropped. It's at 47.5. We're still kind of in a holding pattern, I would call it. So let's just kind of see how things pan out this week. I think this week will be this week and the following week. October 4th, especially for OMG, is going to be a critical time to figure out which way we're going to go as far as price, if we're going to break out to the upside or head downward. So let's just keep an eye out on these cryptos. But today we're going to be talking about an article I pinned over the weekend that I thought was very interesting, and it pertains to the debt to GDP ratio of all of these countries. I was talking to Nate Friday in an interview, and I think I brought up about how our national debt is at 20 trillion now. It just surpassed it in the US, and how cryptocurrencies will help keep these politicians, these these agencies, central banks and whatnot in check, because you can't cheat with cryptocurrency. So not sure if we'll ever get to that point where we have a decentralized crypto that's being used as our national currency, but it will help, I believe, help keep the different departments within our governments in check, because they have a competitor, right? So when I saw that article, I'm like, yeah, I want to really talk about this and tie it into cryptocurrency. So let's take a look at that. So this article, and I'm going to, so the title of this article is "Putting America's Record-Breaking $20 trillion Debt into Global Context." Again, this is just sad, man, and it just reflects how fiat currency systems, monetary systems, are unsustainable, and we haven't seen one up until recently, and up until the paradigm that we're in right now. We haven't seen a monetary fiat system last longer than 40 years. So I think we're going on 50 or so. So we're toward the end. I mean, we've got some real trickery, some financial trickery that the Federal Reserve can do and has been doing, or have been doing. So that's, I think, what has caused us to prolong the inevitable, basically. So let's take a look at the Zero Hedge article. So it says here, the U.S. federal government just passed a record 20 trillion in publicly held debt. That's bigger than the entire economy of every country in the European Union combined. The debt will only grow higher unless President Trump and the U.S. Congress can agree to unprecedented spending cuts combined with tax increases. And let me just cut in on that. So this kind of ties into my whole thing about 401ks. If any of you if you truly think that taxes will be lower than they are today in the future, you really got it wrong. You really got to me a misunderstanding of how messed up our system is. So taxes will only go up from here, and going up won't help either, but that's the only tool That's the only thing that politicians and governments know how to do, is continue to tax us. I just wanted to throw that in there really quickly. So let's get back to the article. So it says here that most people think that an eye-popping $20 trillion debt is insurmountable, and in fact, it is the largest in the world by far. But when you look at another fiscal measure, the ratio of debt to GDP, the U.S. is not in the worst position. And here's a infographic, if you will, of just that, and we'll get into that shortly. Here I want to just kind of read, and that infographic comes from howmuch.net. But howmuch.net's visualization allows you to quickly see how the U.S. government's debt compares to other countries around the world. The size of the country correlates to the size of the debt. The U.S. and Japan stand out because they have the highest debts in the world, 20 trillion and 11 trillion respectively. Other countries like Germany and Brazil appear much smaller because their debts are comparatively tiny. When we then color-coded each country according to its debt-to-GDP ratio. Green countries have healthy margins, but darker red and fuchsia countries have debts that are even bigger than their entire economies. So here's a list of the top 10 worst debt-to-GDP countries here. So we of course have Japan at number 1. They're at 245% of their GDP is debt. Greece is at 173. Italy is at 138%. Portugal 133%. Belgium at 111. Spain at 106%. Canada is also at 106%. Ireland is at 105. France is at 98, and Brazil is at 82% of GDP. So that's mind-boggling, man. I knew, you know, I personally did know. I knew that Japan was had the highest debt to GDP. I was aware of that just from trading currencies and knowing how their monetary policy impact carry trade. So what I mean by that is bankers will do what's called carry trades on the yen, and that's because Japan's interest rate, or the cost to borrow yen is so small or so low that you can borrow yen at almost no interest, and then you know, trade it to purchase other currencies and even assets like equities and stuff like that. So the carry trade really kind of came about from Japan's attempt to, because they can't, at 245% debt to GDP, they can't raise interest rates. They've painted themselves into a corner, and that's exactly the road we're going down. I think it's been like 20 years now that Japan has been in this cycle, and you know, it's our fate. It's going to be the same fate of the U.S. Just this fiscal irresponsibility, and unknowingly, for the most part, unknowingly of the citizens. Like, most people don't know. I guarantee you go out and ask a random person on the street, what's the debt, you know, U.S. national debt, they wouldn't know. They would have no clue. They would have no clue. So the article goes on to talk about, here we go with these pop-ups and stuff with Zero Hedge. The article goes on to talk about the debt to GDP ratio is a critical metric for evaluating a country's fiscal health. It makes a lot of sense for the American government to have a higher debt than a much smaller country like Germany. Think about it like this. Bill Gates is worth 86 billion, so he can afford a much higher credit card bill than me or you. That's why it is important to consider the gross domestic product of each country, a number which represents the sum of all transactions occurring in the economy. And that's a whole nother topic, though, as far as how GDP is calculated here, especially here in the United States. They count one metric for GDP here in the United States. They'll count natural disasters as GDP, meaning, you know, you take Hurricane Irma. Well, they'll, you know, the rebuilding of all of the damage that occurred from the hurricane is considered, they count that as GDP. And really, I think that's a little deceiving. And I'd love to get your thoughts about this, those who are kind of hardcore economists or follow this type of stuff. You know, rebuilding a city does not bring any marginal additional benefit to the citizens in the population in that area. You're just rebuilding what was there prior to. So why are we calculating that into our GDP? I don't know. Also, another thing, another metric that's calculated into GDP is, let's say the central bank loans to JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon. Well, that's put on the books for GDP, even though there's no direct impact, or, you know, you don't see anything from that in the economy for the little people like for us. So it's a lot of just financial trickery going on that a lot of us aren't really aware of as citizens. And it spans from people who are less educated to even people who are college grads and have MBAs and finance and stuff. Like, people, they don't teach you this type of stuff in college, and you know, it's probably for a reason, right? So the article, the final sentence or paragraph, I should say, in this article talks about, once you understand the public debt as a percentage of GDP, you get a level playing field for countries on different economic scales. When you think about it like this, the U.S. isn't even among the 10 worst sovereign debts in the world. So that just lets you know, if we're in bad shape, you can only imagine where Japan, Greece, Italy, Portugal, how they fit. And if you look at this list, this is sad, a large chunk of this list, the top 10 worst countries, are in what? The EU. And this is going to end badly, guys. This is really going to end badly. Let's take a look at that image, though, from that article. So this kind of shows you the breakdown and infographic of the sovereign debt. And as it stated, the countries that you see appear larger in this image, that's the amount of actual debt they have. And then the color coding is showing the debt to GDP ratio. So we're at 20 trillion, which is horrible for sure, but we're in the 50% to 100% range. Conversely, if you look at Japan here, it's at like over 200% of their GDP is debt. So 245% to be exact. So how they even exist right now, I have like, it's just insane. It's insane. And I feel like, you know, with the advent, like, I feel like cryptocurrencies kind of was birthed out of this irresponsibility that we're seeing from our central banks around the world. And I definitely want to get your feedback on that. So how do you feel about cryptocurrencies playing a part in kind of putting these guys in check, you know, getting some checks and balances going, because it definitely is a threat to them. You can't just create cryptocurrencies out of thin air. I mean, you can, but I'm saying if everyone here decides to use Bitcoin or whatever, Litecoin, whatever is the consensus on it, if we decide to use that, we can't create new Bitcoin out of thin air. It has to be created within the scope and the parameters of the protocol. So I really think that Bitcoin will kind of challenge, if not Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies will eventually challenge these governments to start to act in a responsible way when it comes to budgets and spending and all of that. So we'll see. I want to get your feedback on that, and let's have a dialogue in the description or the area comment section of this video. I think that is pretty much it for today. We are, Bitcoin right now is at 3,800 or 3,862. Ethereum is at 281. Litecoin is at 50 bucks, and we've got Amizago at $9.35. So Bitcoin is holding up, man. Bitcoin is holding up, and I love it. Can't stop my man Bitcoin. So let's see how that goes. Make sure you guys join us in the Webbot room. You'll see it here to my left, but you're right. Let's do a quick roll call. We've got Aslam Pasha. We got Nate Graham in there. What's going on, Nate? Wealth of the Future. I really like Wealth of the Future. He's a cool guy. He comments on my videos a lot. Brings a good he brings a lot to the Webbot chat room community. So kudos to him. Shout outs to him. Who else we got in here? Yukon Crow. Yeah, man, check us out. You can definitely join the rooms. There will be a link in the description of this video, and make sure you join us. And if you want to check me out, contact me. You can either hit me up in the Webbot rooms or check out the site cryptoblood.io. Drop me a line, and I'll be sure to get back to you. I think that'll be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Crypto Blood. I'm out. Holla.